Hi, I'm Michael Senoff, founder and CEO of HardToFindSeminars.com. For the last 5 years, I've interviewed the world's best business and marketing minds. Now my challenge is to build the world's largest free resource for online, downloadable audio business interviews. I've learned a lot in the last 5 years, and today I'm going to show you the skills you need to survive.
You would be amazed how many people are interested in selling their business. So what we would do is we would approach businesses that haven't even gone on the market. So there isn't a broker involved in it, because brokers are a pain in the butt, because the thing that they want to see is they want to see the cash in the bank. But you don't have the cash in the bank. So you want to bypass the broker as much as possible. So we just went straight to the businesses. These are people, it's just like going up to a piece of real estate that's not on the market, knocking on the door and saying to the vendor, saying to the person what lives there, hey, loved your house, are you interested in selling it to me? It's exactly the same thing as that. And in fact, the parallels between buying a house and buying a business are massive. So if you ever bought a house, you can buy a business.
Hi, this is Michael Senoff with Michael Senoff's HardToFindSeminars.com. Just by chance, I had received an email from a gentleman who had ordered Art Hamel's course almost a year and a half ago. In the email, he was letting me know that he was going to be moving from the UK to San Diego, and he wanted some advice on some places to live. And just in the email at the end, he said, oh, by the way, I have bought a business using Art Hamel's system. Well, you know, when I hear something like that, I've got to find out the true story behind it. So I said, I'll make you a deal. If you tell me how you bought the business using Art Hamel's system, I will tell you everything you need to know about San Diego and moving here, best schools, etc. So we had an agreement, and that's what you're going to hear. But you're only going to hear the section about buying a business. This gentleman's name is Neil, and you'll hear how he was able to use Art Hamel's system that he ordered almost a year and a half ago and was able to purchase a business that he estimates may bring him over $1 million. So let's get ready, and here we go. Tell me what your name is, and how long ago did you order the Art Hamel system?
Okay, my name's Neil Asher from the United Kingdom, and I ordered Art's system, it would have been about 18 to 20 months ago.
You bought a business before?
I've bought a business before, yeah, but in the main what I've done is I've started businesses from scratch and then been on the selling end of them. And I actually purchased it because I was wanting to learn how to sell a business more effectively, and I figured that the program, if it was teaching people how to buy businesses, it would also vicariously teach you how to sell them as well, which it did, and did that very, very well.
So what was your impression after going through all the material?
You know what, I thought there was an absolute shed load of information in there, which up until that point had been very, very elusive. And what really struck me was Art's a guy that's doing it, and I'm a really big believer in learning from people who are out there in the trenches, making deals, making money, putting things together, buying and selling, and they're actually, you know, they're not kind of like a stay-at-home guru. They're actually out and about and actually doing it. They're getting their fingers dirty.
What was the plan? Okay, you went through the material, and then you wanted to use the information to buy a business or sell a business?
Sell a business, which I did. I had a business over in Australia that I sold.
What were you doing?
We had a training, like an adult education business over there, so it was like a training company. So we set that up, and I thought that I'd set that up in a very strategic way to go about selling it. What I wasn't sure about was the best way of structuring it from a financial point of view for somebody to buy it so that I could maximize the amount of money that we'll be able to make from it. And one of the things that Art teaches is how to go about buying a business when you've got none of your own money. So I wanted to give somebody the opportunity to do that within that company, which we did, and again, it was basically done on a kind of like a management buyout, like an MBO, I guess.
Right. How long did it take to do it?
3.5 months, which is actually very fast. Usually these things take a lot longer, but that was 3.5 months to get the thing, kind of the contracts in place, get everything set up so that everybody was happy with it, and negotiate a price that was fair. And we used Art's got this great system for valuing a business. And it's very, very quick, very, very precise, and it kind of gives you like a really good snapshot of what a business is worth based on different industries. It's a very kind of formulaic, very systemized way of doing it. I thought it was very fair. The people that we sold, the management felt it was very fair as well. So we followed that system, and because of that, I feel we got a very good outcome for everybody involved.
How were you able to find your buyers? Did you use a broker, or did you advertise it yourself?
No, we advertised ourselves. One of the things that Art talks about is don't use a broker, and having had experience in the past of that, I'll echo that as well. Brokers take a 10% cut, and it's essentially, I don't know if you've ever sold a piece of property like a real estate or something like that. Not all brokers are created equal. Some guys do phenomenal work, but I would say that 95% of them don't. And that goes the same for business brokers as well. So I felt that because of the marketing courses I've done, and because I really understood the business as well, and because I was in a situation where I wasn't necessarily rushed to actually sell it, that I thought, A, it would be fun to sell it myself, B, it would be great experience, and C, I felt like I could do as good a job as 95% of the people out there.
So when you advertise it, what medium brought you the best qualified leads?
The local business press. So there's like what would be equivalent to the Wall Street Journal in the US. There's a similar thing called the Financial Review in Australia, and we just advertised it in there.
So when calls came in, were you flooded with calls, and how did you leverage your time in explaining the business, or did you talk to each individual caller one-on-one?
No, we weren't flooded with calls, and the advert was written so that we wouldn't be. It was written in a very qualifying kind of way so that we could make sure that the people who actually called were serious, first and foremost. I didn't want kind of tire kickers around wasting my time, so we made the advert for the business incredibly, like you really had to qualify, and it gave you a lot of information right up front so that you'd read it and go, well, yeah, that's for me, or you know what, that's not really for me. So we didn't kind of do it like a bait and switch or anything like that. I wasn't interested in getting leads. I was interested in finding qualified buyers.
Did you set up a meeting in person before you went over everything, or did you try and do a lot of it over the phone with the callers?
It was initially over the telephone, and really the only thing that we wanted to establish over the telephone is it was more of a character kind of telephone call. So just see if I got along with somebody, see if you pretty much know instantly if you get along with somebody or not. And so we established that first and foremost. Then the next thing we'd established was the equity situation, because we were going to leverage kind of secure the business against their equity, and that's how we could do basically a no money down kind of thing for them. And then also just talk through some of the more finer kind of terms and conditions that we want to put in place as well. And again, that was done pretty much on like, this we were just playing our hand very, very openly so that people could see exactly what we were about, exactly what we wanted, and that way we really leveraged our time because of that. And, out of the, say, I think we've got about 7 or 8 people who were interested in business. Out of those 7 or 8, we had 2 people we actually met based on that telephone conversation. Again, that was that kind of pre-qualifying process. So there's 2 people we actually met, and then obviously one of them was a buyer.
And did you get your asking price?
I got very, very close to it. I think within the Hamel formula, it came out to be about 3.5 times the EBIT, which is what I wanted. I actually wanted 4, but I was happy to go for 3.5. Although it's always a little contemptuous kind of establishing what the exact EBIT figure is, but it was done in a very simple way, and the way we structured it was again based on what Art taught, is we put certain clauses into the sale contract that meant that if we had basically bullshitted, if we told lies about what the business was doing, then the business owner had the right to renegotiate the contract based on the real figures rather than the rubbish we fed them.
Hi, it's Michael Senoff with HardToFindSeminars.com. Thanks for watching this video. Many of my interviews last 30 minutes, 40 minutes, an hour, sometimes even up to 2.5 hours long. They're actual mini seminars, and you've just listened to a short sample of just one of over 117 hours of exciting, hard-hitting, mind-blowing interviews on how to make money in direct mail, advertising, copywriting. I assure you, there is not a resource anywhere on the internet or on the planet that comes close to the free information I provide at HardToFindSeminars.com. So go right now to HardToFindSeminars.com, and you'll have free access to 117 hours of audio interviews with typed word-for-word downloadable transcripts and downloadable MP3 files. Please browse some more of the videos or go right directly to HardToFindSeminars.com. Thanks for watching.